Again, it's a rich thing.
What is going on, guys? Welcome back. In today's video, we're going to do something kind of casual. I'm going to just show you behind the scenes what software I use for NeuralNine, which means video production, video editing, video recording. It means Instagram post design. It means writing books. It means designing book covers, merch, and so on. I'm just going to show you what software, what tools I use for NeuralNine, because a couple of you guys wanted to know this. What software do I use? And I thought, why not make a casual video about it where I just show you what I use and how I use it. So let us get right into it. Alright, so let us get started with the first tool, which is always running in the background when I'm making YouTube videos, and this is OBS, the tool I'm recording with, and you're able to see it here now on my screen. Usually I have OBS running on my second screen where I also have my notes a couple of times. And here in this case we have OBS on the main screen, which is why you see this endless loop here. As you can see here down here, my microphone activity is recorded. You can see my camera here, and I can also in real time here, live as I'm recording, change certain things. So for example, oftentimes in videos when I notice that maybe my camera is blocking the code, what I do is I just grab this thing here and shift it up there, and as you can see I can scale it and all that. So let's just put it back down here. I can do the same thing with the screen. I can do all sorts of settings. You can see my microphone recorded, and you can also see that I have a Droid Cam connected, which is basically an app that I have on my Android phone. And this basically means that if I want to, I can just connect to the Android camera. Maybe let's just do this. If it works out live, why not try it? I have an app on my smartphone, which is called Droid Cam OBS. It works with Wi-Fi, so I need to connect to the same Wi-Fi that my laptop is connected to. And as you can see, it's running, so all I need to do is I need to connect to it, and sooner or later, there you go, we are able to see the recording here. So I can also scale this down a little bit, and the reason I have this connected is that sometimes when the video is mainly about talking, I want to have a higher camera quality, so I don't want to have just this laptop camera here. Let me just turn that off again. I don't want to have the laptop camera only, and the reason for that is because this camera isn't really high quality. It's enough for this bottom right corner here, but if I want to have a video where the camera is the main event, it's not me recording the screen and also the camera, I want to have a little bit more quality. Over time, of course, I'm going to get a more professional camera. But this is how I use OBS. I basically just record the screen and one of the two cameras, and then I talk, and then I do all sorts of things. The second thing that I do is once I have recorded the videos, I need to edit them. And I'm not one of those video guys. I'm really not experienced with any video editing at all. I know the basic stuff, transitions and cut things and, overlay text and stuff like that and add some music, but I'm not a video guy. I'm not a video editing guy. I know the basics, and this is also the reason for why I use Shotcut and not anything fancy like DaVinci Resolve or maybe After Effects or Premiere. I don't know what the professional tools are necessarily. I use Shotcut, which is this tool down here. So when I open it, this is Shotcut. It's a very basic open source tool. It's not too complicated, and I can show you how I use it. Basically, you have this playlist here, and then what you can do is you can just go to the video directory here, and here I have all the videos that I'm recording. By default, they have a timestamp as their name, and down here I have the individual videos with the name. So for example, let's go with unit testing is unit 1 to 4. I can just drag them in here, and then once they're in here, we can see all the videos. This is one of the videos that is already uploaded, so you can watch it on YouTube if you want to. And then what I do is I basically just grab a video, put it down here. Take some time, especially because I'm recording here. And you can see I can just skip through it. I can press S to cut off the first part here, which I usually do. And I don't know if you have noticed, but basically what I do when I edit my videos, or also when I record my videos, is I record them in segments. So I try to not do any jump cuts in between. So when I talk to you right now, I talk in one flow, so I don't cut all the time. However, when one segment of the video is done, for example, when we're done with the segment of video recording software, I'm going to just stop, make a cut, and have the next video, which saves a lot of time while editing, because I know that this part here, unit 1, from the start to the end, except for like the boundary content here in the end. Everything in between is good. I don't have to edit it. It's flowing. I don't make any mistakes, any any big mistakes that I want to cut out. So I can just leave it like that, cut off the ends, and then add the next video. So I just go with unit 2, and I know again unit 2 is gonna be fine. So I can just cut off the beginning, and I can merge them here. I can go to the end, cut off the end, and I know that there won't be any problems inside of the individual clips because I record them in one flow. And if I make any mistakes, I just stop the video and record it anew, the segment, like not the whole video. But for example, right now, if I say something that's terribly wrong, and I'm not talking about minor mistakes, I'm talking about big mistakes, something happening here that is completely wrong, or if there are some very loud noises that destroy everything, what I do is I just delete this and I do it all over again. So I always have segments that I can use without having to look for individual places where I need to do any cuts. And then once I have that, I just go to filters and I add some basic transitions, fade in video, fade out video. So that's all the magic. Maybe over time, as the channel grows, I'm going to do it a little bit more professional, a little bit more, I don't know, fancy. But when I have sponsorships or something, I oftentimes also have some effects of overlays, for example. But that is how I record and edit my videos. It's not too fancy, it's very basic, but that's how I do it. All right, so next up we have the design tools. So what software do I use to design YouTube thumbnails, book covers, Instagram posts, merch products? Whenever I do some design work, it's most of the time done with Canva, which is an online tool that runs in the browser. It's not a professional software like Illustrator or Photoshop or even GIMP, even though I use GIMP, which is the next tool that I'm going to talk about. But mainly I use Canva. So as you can see here, my YouTube thumbnails, or actually those are the Instagram posts, but my YouTube thumbnails here, some of them I have never used. Some of them have multiple versions, and I then pick one of them. So for example, here, up here we have Pimp Your Terminal. I have it like that, and then almost the same thing, but it's a little bit scaled up and all that, and then I pick one of them and upload it. But as you can see, all the individual elements here are Canva elements, and Canva is a perfect tool for people who are not experienced with design work. So if you're not a professional Photoshop user and not a professional GIMP user, and you don't want to become it necessarily, you can just use Canva for everything, because if I have something like this Python logo here, first of all, I can change the colors if I want to, and I can easily manipulate all that if there is a reason to do so. I can scale it up, scale it down. It's a vector graphic. I can, I don't know, flip it, crop it. I can do all the things. I can choose a font here. I can choose colors. It's a very easy to use tool, and I have a lot of things that I can use right away here. For example, if I want to use, I don't know, let's say I want to use a dock as a background here, so I can just pick that dock, and now I have a thumbnail with a dock in the background. I don't have to do any fancy stuff to do that. In GIMP, it's more professional, or in Photoshop, but it takes more time. So if you have to do some simple stuff like designing thumbnails or Instagram infographics, for example, Canva is the perfect tool. So we can look at my Instagram infographics as well here. So what do we have here? For example, how to start with AI. I basically have these text boxes, and I have these logos, and then I have my logo here. It's a very simple thing, right? I don't have to be an artist. I don't have to be a professional designer or digital artist. I can just go ahead in Canva, and you have to be somewhat creative if you want to have good posts, but all in all, it's not really difficult to do all these things. For example, this might look like a very professional infographic maybe, but basically just a Python logo, some lines here, some boxes and some text and some icons here again. So it's nothing too fancy, right? That's how I do all my design work. You can see also here all promotions and, I don't know, Instagram buttons that I have here. Everything's done in Canva. Sometimes, however, I also use GIMP. Now, I don't have anything here to show you when it comes to GIMP, but I use GIMP as well. When do I use GIMP? Oftentimes when I have to remove some background, when I want to make it transparent, or when I have some... oftentimes I use GIMP to take the individual pieces of book covers. For example, when I do book covers for my books that I sell on NeuralNine.com/books, what I do is I take I design the individual sides in Canva, so the front page and the back side of the cover, I design them in Canva, but then I take the template that I have from Amazon and I combine everything into it using GIMP. So GIMP is just the extra tool that I use. Mainly I use Canva because you could say I'm the equivalent of a script kiddie when it comes to designing. All right, so the last category of software that I use for NeuralNine, for the business, for the brand NeuralNine, whatever you want to call it, is a little bit mixed up. It's not focused on video production, design, or book writing or anything. It's general tools that I use for different tasks. And one of those tools is Microsoft Word. And you can also replace it if you want with LibreOffice or whatever. But this is one of the tools that I use for everything obviously related to writing, be it a book or a blog post. I don't do any writing besides that actually. But whenever I write books or blog posts, I always use Word. For example, here we have the Python Bible Volume 1, and here I have the book written in Word. And then usually when it comes to books, I export it, especially when it comes to ebooks, I export it to an HTML file, upload it to Kindle, they process it and so on, then I review it. But I do the writing in Word and then I export it to HTML. And the same goes for blog posts. I basically write blog posts in Word, and then once I'm satisfied with the result, I take the individual paragraphs, put them into WordPress or into Medium, whatever, and then I format it there. But I write everything in Word. So a basic writing software for me is Word, obviously. Then I also use Excel. I'm not going to show you any Excel files here, but I use Excel to quantify or to get an overview over quantitative things. So for example, how many views do I get? What is the change in subscribers, in revenue, and so on? Because as you know, NeuralNine to some degree is a business. It's not only a business. I don't want to make it sound like it's a cold-hearted thing. I love making videos. I love programming. I love teaching. But at the end of the day, it's also a business. So whatever, I'm blocking the view here. Whenever I do something, I want to quantify something. I want to know, okay, how much money is coming in from the book sales and how much money is being spent on equipment and what is the growth in revenue and so on. I use Excel to get my personal dashboard combining Instagram promotions, combining YouTube money, combining book money and so on. I use Excel to get an overview over that. I don't want to show any numbers, but that is what I do with Excel. When it comes to general management and planning and brainstorming and strategizing and scheduling videos and all that, whenever it comes to that, I use Notion, not Excel. And at this point in time, almost my whole life is in Notion. It's the tool that I really use for everything. As you can see here, I have a personal tab, a university tab, and a NeuralNine tab. And in a NeuralNine tab, I have everything. I have the YouTube channel, which has sub-tabs as well, video ideas, video schedule. I don't want to spoil anything, so I'm not going to click on that. But inside there, I have tables with all the topics, with how much I think that this topic will be interesting. So I have a certain potential, which is just my feeling about something. So for example, if I have a basic video where I think, okay, it's nice, but it's not going to get a lot of views, I tag it with low potential or medium potential. When I have a video that is like very promising, I have the tag very promising or very high potential. Then I have also the difficulty, how much time and effort it's going to take me to make that video. Because if I make a video on sockets, on the functionality of sockets, which I have on my channel, that's not a lot of effort. I know sockets. I don't have to research. I don't have to plan a lot. I just talk about sockets. This video, for example, here is also very easy. I just have to show you casually my software, and that's a very easy video. On the other hand, some videos are very difficult, and I always try to balance, okay, how much time do I have for specific videos, and how high is the potential of the individual videos. Then I also plan my books here. I brainstorm for my Redbubble merch. I also plan Instagram post topics, also when it comes to blogging. Then also things that are not relevant yet. For example, the podcast. I don't have a podcast yet, but I want to have a podcast soon or somewhere in the future. So whenever it comes to podcast thoughts or ideas that I have, I write them down here in this tab, in this subpage. Also, programming software as a service. I don't have a SaaS product yet. I don't have anything that I can offer you, but I brainstorm about it. I think about it. I have strategies. I have documentation, which basically is limited to color codes at the moment. So every standard that I have in NeuralNine, for example, the orange of the logo is a certain color code, and this is in the documentation. That's it basically, right? So I can also show you here what I have in the university tab and the personal tab. You can see weekly goals, monthly goals, yearly goals, habit tracker, vision board, BJJ notes, which basically means Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu notes. I like to take note of of the things that I learned in class, quotes that I find interesting, book list, mindset notes, ideas, insights, random board, pack list, movie list, schedule, growth page, whatever. Just Notion is a tool that I use whenever it comes to something that doesn't have to be quantitative, because Notion cannot replace Excel. But if I don't need anything that's so much related to numbers and calculations and formulas, I like to use Notion, because Notion is my centralized management tool for life, business, and university. And last but not least, I think that's the final thing that I use. It's not really a software, or actually it is a software, but I use Python for a lot of different things. Whenever I want to automate something, let's say I have a folder, a directory with a bunch of different files that have some pattern in them, but then again, they don't have a pattern in them, and I want to rename them and move them, I do this with Python. When I want to automate processes, I do it with Python. For example, here I have the script newbook.py. When I want to write a new book, usually what I do is I get a template, and then I rename the template and I position it in a certain directory, and I create some additional files. And with this Python script, I can do it all with one click. So I click on it, I enter the new title of the book, and then I get the template, and I can get started right away without doing all the repetitive processes myself. I also have socialmedia.py, basically just a script that opens a browser with all the different tabs. So it has my Facebook page, my LinkedIn page, Twitter profile, Instagram, YouTube in one click. I don't have to open the browser and type all these things myself. What else do I do? Yeah, sometimes when I want to summarize financial data, for example, from Amazon book sales, what I do is I get the individual CSV files that Amazon offers, but oftentimes they're very clumsy. I don't have a good overview, and I get all these Excel files, import them to Python, process them, and then export new Excel files or CSV files. And this is something that I can automate with Python. So I use Python quite a lot as my last software that I want to list in this video. Alright, so that's it for today's casual video. I hope you were able to get some interesting insights into the behind the scenes process of NeuralNine, be it for Instagram, YouTube, book writing, whatever. If you like these kinds of videos where I show you some more behind the scenes stuff, some more personal stuff, let me know by hitting the like button and leaving a comment in the comment section down below. Of course, also don't forget to subscribe to this channel and hit the notification bell to not miss a single future video for free. And besides that, thank you very much for watching. See you in the next video, and bye.